Before I start this video, I just want to say Happy New Year's to everyone. Happy 2025. Hopefully 2024 went good for you guys. If not, hopefully 2025 is better for you. I'm recording this on the 1st of the month, so what better way than releasing my first video for MAKIATTO. Now with that being said, in today's video we're finally going to be releasing the MAKIATTO guide. We're going to be going over her best builds, certain weapon options that you can go, her best vertebrae, her skills, and so on and so forth. Starting off, let's give a quick summary to MAKIATTO. So MAKIATTO excels as a single target damage dealer with exceptional range thanks to her being a sniper rifle unit. She is a SSR Sentinel character that does amazing burst damage as well. She can also target hidden enemies behind Frontline. What truly sets MAKIATTO apart is her unique alert state activated by her ultimate ability. Upon activation, she gains a shield, and as long as the shield remains active, she will intercept attacks against any ally within her range. This intercept not only blocks the attack but also counters the enemy, dealing damage upon twice per turn at V0. Crucially, the intercept occurs before the enemy's attack, allowing her to neutralize threats preemptively and protect her team. Additionally, the intercept triggers support attacks from allies, creating strong synergy opportunities. So first thing, as we always do, let's go into the skills. So Lone Wolf Territory is going to be her basic attack, where she will select one target within 9 tiles and deal physical damage equal to 80% of attack. Her next skill, Code Precision Shot, selects one enemy target within 9 tiles of herself and perform 2 attacks, dealing freeze damage equal to 100% of attack. She will then gain 1 stack of Cold Conviction for each instance of damage dealt. Cold Conviction is attack increased by 10% with a maximum of 3 stacks. This effect will be nullified when using skills other than the active skill Cold Precision Shot. If the first attack crits, increases the critical rate of the second attack by 100% and the critical damage by 80%. Now essentially, you're going to be spamming this S1 as much as possible to then gain these stacks of Cold Conviction. As you guys can see here, this effect will be nullified when using skills other than the active skill Cold Precision Shot. So going into our next skill, Professional Tactics, you almost never want to use this skill. Going into it, select one enemy target within 9 tiles, dealing physical damage equal to 130% of attack to them. Gains 4 points of CI, and also gains 2 stacks of Emergency Plan. Emergency Plan, AoE's damage taken is reduced by the current stack count times 25%. Each instance of AoE damage consumes 1 stack. With a stacking maximum of 3 stacks, this is considered as a regular buff. If there are no other allied units within 3 tiles after the attack, she'll then gain 1 stack of Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf. For using an active attack applied to the target, stacks of Frozen equal to the number of attacks made last for 1 turn. Activates 1 time. This buff cannot be cleansed. When Frozen is applied, movement is decreased by 1 tile. If Frozen has reached 2 stacks at the end of the action, it will then convert into Frigid, which lasts for 1 turn. When Frigid, you'll be unable to move and cannot be actively displaced. And then we have her ultimate. So her ultimate, she will gain a Frost Barrier and gain Alert for 2 turns. Frost Barrier is essentially what Sumi does for everyone on the team. It's basically a shield that will help you not take any damage. And then she'll also gain Alert for 2 turns. Now Alert, so when an enemy within 9 tiles attempts to attack with Frost Barrier, interception, that enemy dealing freeze damage equal to 9% of attack, 2 stability damage, and applies Frozen for 1 turn. Activates 4 times per turn. When interception crits, she'll then gain 1 Rapture for 1 turn. This effect cannot be cleansed. Rapture. Damage dealt is increased by 7.5%, stacking up to 4 times. So essentially what you are reading here is that it will activate 4 times. If she does crit every single attack for interception, it will then increase by 4. This cannot be cleansed as a buff. And then interception performs an attack, cannot be triggered by interceptions. counterattacks, or action support. Now, it cannot be triggered by interceptions. It mostly has to do with PvP. Crossbear absorbs damage up to 80% of base attack, capped at 8% of max HP. After using this skill, gains 2 points of CI at the end of each action, and can be triggered 2 times. Last but not least, we have her passive. Increases critical rate by 40% and reduces critical damage by 10%. At the start of the turn, if the unit's HP exceeds 80%, then we'll gain Insight and Steady Progress until the next turn. Insight will increase the range of her ultimate skills by 1 tile. And Steady Progress, mobility increased by 1 tile, immune to displacement. When attacking a target with Frozen, ignores 4 points of stability index and increases damage dealt to them by 20%. When attacking a target with Frigid, ignores 6 points of stability index and increases damage dealt to them by 30%. When dealing freeze damage to an enemy target with Frozen or Frigid, ignores 10 points of stability index instead and increases damage by 30%. These effects cannot stack. And that is pretty much going over these skills for MAKIATTO. So going over the rotation for MAKIATTO, essentially you are going to be using the ultimate skill whenever it is up, and then essentially spamming your S1. You'll almost never in any situation use your S2 because it will disrupt the flow of the S1 stacking. So bread and butter is going to be the ultimate and then spamming the S1. Also regarding her skills along with passive, increases critical rate by 40% allows you to actually gain 100% crit rate for MAKIATTO to help you stat check to make sure that you are always critting for the extra buff that she will gain. The first attack crits increases the critical rate of the second attack by 100% and the critical damage by 80%. So you want to make sure that you have at least 60% critical rate on MAKIATTO. Now let's start talking about weapons for MAKIATTO. Currently, in the state of the game, there are only 2 weapons right now for MAKIATTO that are ideal. There is another SSR that is available for her in the future that is optional besides her own, but it's not yet released on global. That being said, the best weapon is obviously going to be her main weapon, Bittersweet Caramel. And if you do not have this weapon, you will be using the 4-star variant W2000. When it does come to attachments is fairly simple. If you can afford it, you want to go the Ice Freeze Boost set. But if you are running low on attachment farming, because we all know how bad resources are farming, then you are able to use the Phase Strike set on her. But priority is going to be the Freeze Boost set. If not, then just use Phase Strike instead. Stat lining that you're going to be looking for MAKIATTO is going to be, as every other DPS character, attack percent, attack, crit rate, and crit damage. And you want to look for this on every single one of your piece of gears. Stat lining, like I said, you want to at least get 60% crit on her. So you want to look at 40% crit rate damage increase to guarantee that she always crits. Now let's talk about what keys MAKIATTO is going to run. So MAKIATTO, for her fixed keys, is very interchangeable depending on the content that you're playing in. But to dumb it down, her best keys is Fixed Key Additional Intelligence. When active, skill cold precision shot results in a kill, gains 1 point of CI. We then have Ice with Milk Foam, gains 3 points of CI at the start of battle. And then we have Absolute Concentration that will increase attack by 10% at the start of battle. This effect will last until HP drops below 100% for the first time. This is going to be the bread and butter for MAKIATTO for the fixed keys if you don't want to think too much about it. But these keys are interchangeable. depending on the content that you are playing, you can go with Murderous Intent. The start of battle applies Murderous Intent to the highest HP unit on the enemy team. Murderous Intent is immune to Frozen and Frigid. Increase incoming freeze damage from MAKIATTO by 20%. If base weakness is exploited, this effect is increased by 30%. This effect cannot be cleansed. Then depending on the content, I would say more for around PvA or stages that you needed to actually get to certain points. You could use Time for a Break that would increase tiles of movement. Now regarding the common keys, what do you go for common keys? Currently right now we are missing one important common key for her, which is going to be Dush's common key in the future. But currently right now we have the common key Heart Melting Strike. If user's mobility is greater than or equal to the target's increased damage by 7%. Then we have the common key All Seeing Eye. When the unit is under effects of Insight, increases damage dealt by 7%. Then we have Hunting Trap, which increases damage dealt against enemy targets with movement debuffs. So essentially, this is going to be Vepli's key, Moisen's key, and Lada's key. These are the main three keys right now for MAKIATTO that you will be running. Now, if you do not have Vepli's key or Moisen's key yet, you can use keys essentially that increase crit rate to help get that 100% crit rate. Or if you are there, then use things that have crit damage or attack percent. Now let's talk about her vertebrae. So V1 is a common conversation whether you need it for MAKIATTO or not. You 100% do. It's really one of those things where it really makes the character a character. MAKIATTO with and without this is essentially two different characters. V1, if you perform 2 attacks, critical damage will no longer increase and the damage dealt is decreased to 100% of attack. The first attack crits, the critical rate of the second attack is increased by 100% and the critical damage increased by 80%. It's a very, very big damage increase, especially, I would say for other characters, her V1 is just as good as a Xiongju V3 damage increase that will help you out. Her next one would be V2. That would really help out. It basically allows interception to be triggered one more time per turn, which is really, really good. Not only for, I would say, bossing, but also for PvP as well. And then we have the next milestone, which is going to be V5. So V5 is when dealing freeze damage to an enemy target with Frozen or Frigid, increases stability index ignored to 10 points and damage dealt by 30%. This helps you not have to run the fixed key I showed you guys earlier with running Murderous Intent. This is essentially her fixed key number 5, Murderous Intent, in a dupe. So it allows you to be more flexible than using fixed key number 5. And then we also have V6. V6 is absolutely, the best really for any character, but this one really does shine. After using absolute mental defense, she'll gain 2 points of CI at the end of the action. This effect can be triggered 2 times. Interception can be triggered once more per turn. If the interception deals a critical hit, she'll then gain Rapture for 1 turn. And again, Rapture increases her damage dealt by 7.5 up to 4 times and cannot be cleansed. V6 is crazy. She can literally ambush 4 times a round and permanently want to spam the S1 as well. The longer the fight goes on, the stronger MAKIATTO will get just through the buffs. But it's not as easy in certain situations, but longer fights, it really does excel. Now, last but not least, let's talk about the team for MAKIATTO. So what are you going to be running with her? Well, number 1, the most obvious slot, if you do have her, is going to be Suumi. Suumi, shield, she has cleanse, Sumi's gimmick of Avalanche also helps ice debuffs that are applied by MAKIATTO as well. So that's going to be your core 2 team. In the future, obviously, we have Dush that makes the ice team really core, but for now, these are the 2. After that, you're going to be looking at Xiongju as the next character here. Xiongju is obviously, we all know Xiongju is a really strong main DPS, and she is very essential in a lot of teams, just due to her having defense down, and also the interception attacks by MAKIATTO also can have support attacks from Xiongju. So it really helps maximize damage input for having Xiongju in. Now, these are pretty much the 3 main units. Obviously, there's other units that you can put in, just depending on the situation, so let's talk about it. We have Ksenia. I will just go in order here from what I know. But Ksenia is universal on a lot of teams, even in CN. It's mostly due to her being able to increase damage with Blazing Assault. Ksenia is actually used a lot for that no matter what team. Yes, she's used for the burn team, but it's also to help you get 15% extra damage for 2 turns. And if you actually use this with MAKIATTO after using her ult, when she does interception attacks, she'll then, if you use MAKIATTO first and then apply Ksenia ult, it'll have her extend Blazing Assault into the next turn, and then she'll have a free 15% damage for interception twice. So it's pretty strong. That's something that you can use. Then we have Tololo. Tololo is pretty much a support attack with MAKIATTO's ult, so it helps just get extra damage increase with Tololo's 2-turn attack. I would say the next character you could probably run will be Yorid. Yorid has potential to help MAKIATTO, not only with mobility, but Yorid will be able to help with Xiongju's support attacks. If you guys don't know what I'm going off of here, MAKIATTO and Xiongju is essentially the duo. That is the duo. So a lot of these other units that are coming into play here are characters that help support Xiongju, that supports the overall DPS, not essentially MAKIATTO herself. Another character you can run is Nemesis. Nemesis is also used in a lot of flex slots for teams, just due to her defense down. Defense down is really strong. Right. Character that I don't have that you guys can use is Sabrina. Sabrina is really useful, so that could be used essentially as a tank. The tank counter helps with Xiongju proccing as well, and helps with MAKIATTO's downtime, not having interception. I would say one character that I haven't really gone over, which I probably should have just didn't see it on the list, would be Lotta. Lotta, obviously she has ice debuffs as well. So the chill effect of the cold snap, it's just essentially extra damage that applies. So just benefiting the ice team as a whole. Lotta is pretty much a no-brainer. Why not? Especially if you have V2 Suimi. It's just increased ice damage at the end of the day. Another pick here could be Vepli. And for Vepli, Vepli is okay. Vepli, the enjoyers, I see them all the place, but Vepli has mobility down. She has mobility down. She also has vulnerability as well. Ability down helps with MAKIATTO if you're running the right keys with her. As you guys know, the keys will have movement debuffs, increase the damage. So Vepli has a place with MAKIATTO actually, and the same thing with Rosa actually. Rosa, she ends up shielding, she has a counter, and then she has movement down with the ult as well. I'll say the last character that probably can go with MAKIATTO, I would say pretty much Sharkri. Sharkri also helps with Xiongju. Again, the core team is MAKIATTO, Xiongju. Sharkrie is a no-brainer, as we all know, for the burn team. Sharkrie is very, very strong, and she deals a lot of damage, has a great amount of stability break, only if you have V3 Xiongju. Planeta is really, really flexible on her, so you don't have to run Golden Melody on Sharkrie. You can take Planeta from Tololo and run it on Sharkrie if you do have that option. And I know people will mention this. Is Papa Shaw usable with MAKIATTO Xiongju? Well, if you have her common key, it does increase ally unit support skills as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe if you guys haven't yet. You guys can also join the Discord, link in the description down below. I will be streaming for the event that is going to be coming out to hang out with you guys, especially for New Year's. Thank you guys for all the support in 2024. I look forward to 2025 to make videos for you guys and any new games that come out as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.